Hi everyone, my name is Dan Kamen. I'm a rabbi at Congregation B'nai Emunah at 17th and Peoria. One of the projects we've been running for a couple of years now is called the 17th Street Deli, or a pop-up Jewish restaurant where your kuro and pastrami, bake your own rye bread, serve a traditional deli meal once a month out of our synagogue kitchen. I'm delighted to be with you this evening to make some of my favorite foods for you and to show you how we do it. The dish that we're going to look at today is latkes. Latkes are a traditional Jewish potato pancake, typically served around the time of Hanukkah, but in our house we like to eat them all year round, and during this COVID-19 experience they've been especially fun to play with and to have on hand. So I want to walk you through what it looks like to make these latkes together, our recipe, a scaled down recipe for home use, and then show you how we serve it sometimes in our house. So the ingredients for our latkes are very simple, and they're the things I have in front of me. We're going to have potatoes and onions, zucchini, and sweet potato. And so to start with, we have to make what will be our latke batter, the mixture which we will combine together and then fry up when we head over to the stove top. Key ingredients here, we'll walk through them one by one. We're going to start with these potatoes. You can really use any type of potato you please. The ones I have here are these golden yellow potatoes. And it really doesn't matter. I'm going to cut them into nice processable pieces for our food processor, and using the shredding attachment on my food processor, just go ahead and shred them into nice, easy strips. If you don't have a food processor with a shredding attachment, you could use a box grater for the same purpose. That was 2 potatoes, about 11 ounces of potato. So we'll add to the potato equal parts onion. So if we had about 11 ounces of potato, we're going to put in about 11 ounces of onion, shredding exactly the same as we did with the potato. Onion and potato really form the basis of any latke. Once you have those, then it's up for experimentation. But we find adding a couple of more things really boosts out the flavor and creates a better potato pancake for your meals. So one of the things we almost always add when we make these at the synagogue is zucchini. So I'm going to do a similar thing to what I did with the onion and the potato. And we're going to shred this. In terms of ratios, it's about half the amount of onion or potato. So if we had about 11 ounces of potato, we want about 5 to 6 ounces of zucchini, which I'll add in right now and shred in the same way. Now our last addition to our latkes today is going to be a sweet potato. We really find that it enhances the flavor and makes for a much better latke experience if we have that sweetness of the sweet potato into the latke. Now after all my veggies are shredded, I'm ready to move on to the next step. I've got a large bowl lined with cheesecloth, and I'm going to go ahead and take out all the scraps from the food processor, remove the shredding attachment, and add this mixture into the bowl where the cheesecloth lined bowl. Just going to scrape down to get all of these veggies into our bowl. Put that to the side. Now the reason we need the cheesecloth is because this mixture is very wet, and we don't want too wet of a batter when we go over to the fry station. So what we need to do is we need to use the cheesecloth to gather it all together. If you don't have a cheesecloth, a kitchen towel will do. And go ahead and just squeeze the cheesecloth together, or whatever cloth you have, such that we're getting rid of all of that liquid. You can see it's really quite a bit of liquid that is being expelled through this squeezing process. It's good to use cheesecloth sometimes because you really can just dispose of it when you're done. But whatever you have in as a way to remove the moisture is useful. So what we're going to do now is we're going to dump this water and return in a second. Now we've dumped our water and we've got a clean bowl in front of us. We're going to go ahead and add back our vegetable mixture into this bowl. Typically for the size batch of latkes we're making right now, it would call for about 2 eggs. So we're going to go ahead and add 2 eggs to this mixture. But you'll note as you are making latkes in your home, whether or not that seems like too little or too few. What you want is a nice even consistency such that the eggs are doing the good work of binding your batter together. To the eggs, we're also going to add about 1/4 cup of flour. Again, the eggs and the flour are going to bind our veggies together. So just about 1/4 cup, just eyeballing it here. There are a couple of ways to do this. Oftentimes with latkes, oftentimes in the kitchen, I just like to get my hands dirty. So I'm going to go ahead and use my hands to mix this all together. Now lastly, we're going to add some pepper, fresh ground cracked pepper. My pepper mill is not nearly as large as Justin Thompson's, but this will do for us here at the house. And then we've got some salt to add. Season liberally. We'll go ahead and mix that together to combine. Now that our batter is fully mixed, we are ready to head over to the stove and fry off some latkes. Come join me.
So here we are at the stove top, and I've got a cast iron skillet with about 1 cup of oil getting nice and hot, looking for about 270 degrees. To that hot oil, I'm adding 1/4 cup of our latke batter. You'll note that I'm packing that batter pretty tightly into that cup so it helps form the shape of our latke. And then I'm gently placing the latke scoop into our hot oil pan. Now I'm going to take my spatula and press down on each of these scoops such that they are flattened to be between 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch thick. We want them thin enough to cook through, but thick enough that our potato pancakes are substantial. You also want to make sure that there's enough room in the pan for the pancakes to cook all around. We're looking for them to cook on each side for about 2 to 2.5 minutes till we get a nice golden brown. You'll see as I'm flipping right now that we've achieved that on the first side, and we'll let it cook for another moment, another 2 minutes, until it finishes on the other side, on the second side. Once I'm happy with the color on our latkes, I will remove them from the pan and place them on paper towels to dry off all of that excess oil. And at this point, I can season with a little salt as well. And good work. You've made latkes, everyone.
Well, friends, there are a lot of different ways we can top a latke or serve a latke. Traditionally, you might serve a latke with applesauce or sour cream. Those are the standard things you might expect for a latke meal. At our home, certainly in times of lots of time to cook and lots of time to experiment, we like to dress our latkes up in a little bit different way. The way we like to do for a latke meal is with the following. So I've got my 2 latkes right here. The first thing we're going to add is a piece of smoked salmon. We'll peel off a piece each, and really just a small piece goes right on top of our latke. And then on top of our latke, we're going to add a poached egg. I've got 2 poached eggs, which I prepared earlier. And then on top of our poached egg, a nice hollandaise sauce. We'll spoon right over. And then we'll garnish with a few diced chives. Just a few to sprinkle for some color. Well, there you have it. The synagogue's traditional latkes, dressed up for Sunday brunch or Sunday supper or whatever meal you want during this quarantine time. Latke eggs Benedict. Check us out at www.tulsadeli.org or www.tulsagog.com. I look forward to seeing you sometime soon at the 17th Street Deli, and we wish you all well in the days ahead. Take care. Bye for now.